Unit 4 Iteration, Topic 4.1 While Loops. The foundational building blocks in regards to algorithms are sequencing, we have seen in previous units, selection, which we saw in Unit 3, and iteration, which we will focus on this unit. This unit will focus on iteration. This is represented in a program by using while loops and for loops. Loops give the program the ability to repeat a set of statements 0 or more times until a condition is met. Boolean expressions are also one of the main components in iteration. This unit introduces several standard algorithms that use iteration. Knowledge of standard algorithms makes solving similar problems easier, as algorithms can be modified or combined to suit new situations. Iteration statements change the flow of control by repeating a set of statements 0 or more times until a condition is met. In this lesson, we will focus on representing iterative processes using a while loop. This is the structure of a while loop. It starts with the keyword while, followed by a Boolean expression. If that expression evaluates to true, the computer will enter the loop and execute the statements within the curly braces. If the Boolean expression evaluates to false, your computer will exit the loop. The while loop is actually quite similar to the if statement. The main difference is that the if statement will only run once if the condition is true. The while loop can run multiple times as long as the condition is true. In loops, the Boolean expression is evaluated before each iteration of the loop body, including the first. When the expression evaluates to true, the loop body is executed. This continues until the expression evaluates to false, whereupon the iteration ceases. In most while loops, you'll have a loop control variable. This variable can be found within the Boolean expression to control the flow of the loop. You initialize the loop control variable outside the while loop. The loop control variable can be found within the Boolean expression to control the flow of the loop. Before exiting the loop, you need to update the loop control variable. Here's an example. What do you think is the output of this program? One way you can visualize your code is by creating a trace table. A really important skill to develop is the ability to trace the values of variables and how they change during each iteration of a loop. You can create a trace table that keeps track of the variable values each time through the loop. This is very helpful on the exam. Studies have shown that students who create trace tables do much better on code tracing algorithms on multiple choice exams. Set up your trace table by identifying the variables, conditions, and output you want to keep track of. In this case, integer I, the Boolean expression I less than 5, the output, and the increment of I. At the start of your program, integer I stores the value 0. The Boolean expression at this time evaluates to true. The computer will execute the code inside the while loop and output I. It will then increment the loop control variable by 1 and go back to evaluate the Boolean expression. This will continue until the Boolean expression evaluates to false. Here's another example. Notice how the loop control variable is initialized and how it's updated within the loop. What do you think is the output of this program? What might your trace table look like? What if I wanted a program to count down from 20 to 0 by 2s? What might my Boolean expression look like? And how might I update the loop control variable? A loop is an infinite loop when the Boolean expression always evaluates to true. In this example, the Boolean expression is set to true. As it never evaluates to false, this will create an infinite loop. In this example, what's missing to keep the program from creating an infinite loop? The loop control variable needs to be updated. In this case, it will always be set to 10, which makes the Boolean expression always evaluating to true. How might you update the loop control variable so that the Boolean expression will eventually evaluate to false? If we update the loop control variable by decrementing it, integer I will eventually store the value of -1, which causes the Boolean expression to evaluate to false, which will then exit the loop. If the Boolean expression evaluates to false initially, the loop body is not executed at all. In this example, the Boolean expression will always evaluate to false. The while loop will never execute, therefore the loop control variable will never update. It is essential to pay attention to the loop control variable updating in your while loop. A while loop is typically used when you don't know how many times the loop will execute.